Right, so after the Supreme Novices, then obviously we move on to the Arkle, which for me, I've got 2 words written down here. Poor race. Over to you.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is a poor renewal. However, said that, I do think it's a competitive race. Although obviously the quality might not be as high as recent years. Do think the race has something that will give racegoers something to like rave about. Anyway, I'm going to go with the favourite for this, Footpad. He's not my.
Would you say he's a bit short?
Price is a bit short. However, he's not my typical. He's not the typical type horse I'd go for an Arkle. I normally go for a horse that's less exposed over hurdles. I normally look for a horse that's had a couple runs over hurdles, then switch to fences, rather than a horse that's ran, a good half a dozen or dozen times over hurdles, then switch to fences. That's the one thing, my one negative with Footpad. However, other than that, I do think his performances this season warrant him being at the head of the market. His jumping's been slick, and I do think he's the one to beat. As you say, it's not the highest quality renewal, but I do think he's a worthy favourite. He is a short price, but a lot of the other horses in the race have question marks. Brain Power, the ground's against. His recent form.
The old boy?
His recent form's not been good. He's had jumping issues. I know they hold him in high regard, but I think the ground is his main concern tomorrow. Petit Mouchoir.
I think he'll get round though, Brain Power. If you're the last thing you want round Cheltenham is jumping issues, isn't it, mate? It's one of the hardest in the country, isn't it?
Yeah, you do need to jump round Cheltenham, as you say. It's one of those tracks where if you don't jump, you don't win. It's as simple as that. That said, I remember Finian's.
I think he's got loads to prove, plenty to prove. Brain Power.
Yes, I do. I do remember a few years ago when Mr. Buckley, he had another horse, Finian's Rainbow. He also had jumping issues, and he actually went to the Arkle and he ran a big race without winning the race. So I don't think it's impossible, but I do think the ground's against him, and I would be against him tomorrow. Another one, Petit Mouchoir.
That must be able to get the race.
He's had form which actually has showed him get the better of Footpad over hurdles, i.e. in last year's champion hurdle. However, he had a setback during the middle part of this season, and he had a return run at the Dublin Festival, and he ran with a lot of credit. They're saying he's going to come on for the run, and if he does, he's going to be the one probably to put it up to Footpad. But out of the two, going over the whole season, I'd have to have Footpad coming out on top on this race. St Calvados is the other horse in the race that's interesting. He's going to love the soft ground. It's just a matter of whether he's actually good enough. I personally don't think he is. I think Footpad will win the race, but it's a fascinating race to watch. But obviously, as you say, in terms of quality, it's probably a poor renewal.
I agree. I mean, personally, my view on the race is I've not really got one. I was amazed at how bad it was. So I just got a downer on the race from the start. I understand you're on Footpad. I hope it wins for you, mate. Good luck. I've got really nothing else to say on the race, really.
Yeah. Thanks for that. I am on Footpad. Not heavily, funny enough. As I said earlier, he wasn't my typical kind of Arkle horse. Therefore, I didn't really crack into him early on in the season. But I have been impressed with his last couple runs, certainly, and I think his slick jumping will be the difference between him and Petit Mouchoir tomorrow.
Where's all the other horses? Has he scared all the other horses off Footpad? Is he really that good? But if he is, then that price tomorrow, why is he not odds on? Why is he not so shorter than what he is? If he's such a good thing tomorrow in a 6-runner race.
Well, that's a question that I'd like to ask a lot of the trainers. Probably the ground might have put some of them off, but also it is a disappointment because there's prize money. There's good prize money on offer for like 3rd, 4th and 5th place. So I can't really understand why any of the other trainers ain't running their horses in it. But obviously it is what it is, and it is disappointing.
They must be scared of the favourite, mate, mustn't they?
They potentially could be. Footpad has looked impressive visually this season, so maybe they do feel they can't beat him. But
what price was Altior in last year's Arkle, mate? What price did Altior go off?
Altior went. Good question. He was odds on. He was nearer the. I think he was nearer the 1 to 2 mark.
Yeah, but Footpad is 6 to 4.
Yeah,
would you say that was an equivalent? So Footpad, really, would you say he's vulnerable tomorrow, or would you say you are expecting him to win?
I expect Footpad to win. However, I wouldn't put him in a comparison with Altior. However, I'm not.
No, but in a relatively a small field, and Altior was as dominant over them last year as Footpad has been over these this year. So I think it's a fair comparison.
Maybe in terms of opposition and dominance throughout the season.
All things being relative, were you expecting Footpad to win tomorrow as easily as Altior did last year? I suppose is the question I'm asking.
I do, although I do feel Altior ran a little bit below last year in the Arkle. As good as he was all season, I do think the Arkle he wasn't quite right on the day. But in terms of ability, I'd have Altior a good bit in hand on Footpad. However, I do think Footpad's been as dominant as Altior in some races. I just in general think that the form between all the horses makes Footpad that worthy favourite tomorrow. I couldn't put him on the same level as Altior. I think that'd be harsh. Yeah, but I do think he's a worthy favourite.
Altior, I'm in no doubt whatsoever that Altior would absolutely trot all over Footpad easily.
I agree.
And next year we'll see it. Where else has Footpad got to go next year than the Champion Chase route? So he needs to win tomorrow because it's the only race he's ever going to win again. He won't win another race after tomorrow unless he wins another Grade 1 novice chase.
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously the Arkle is the stepping stone to the champ.
Tomorrow's his day. Footpad's the day for Footpad tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is the day for Footpad tomorrow, and obviously it is a stepping stone towards the Champion Chase. Usually the Arkle.
And certain defeat.
I think he'll win.
Footpad next season. No, I mean tomorrow. I mean next season.
Next season,
he's not going to get much change next season, is he? With all these 2 mile chases.
Nope. I personally would have Duvan, Altior, and Min over Footpad at this present time, but a lot can happen within 12 months.
And probably a few others as well if you had time to think about it properly.
Yes.
I'd be amazed if time doesn't tell that Footpad is the best 2 mile hurdler and novice chaser this year. I mean, you've got Aintree to come yet, and you've got Punchestown to come yet. It wouldn't surprise me to see Footpad win tomorrow and something else to beat him later on in the season. Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Well, no, and as you say, like in the Arkle last year, Charbel was running a huge race behind upsides Altior when he come down. He went on to Aintree and he ran massively disappointing. So a lot of horses, then they're over the top. By the time they go to Aintree, they're over the top. And
I'm glad you mentioned that because that brings me on to one of my selections in the next race that I think ran in that race.
Yeah.
Right, we'll leave it there for the Arkle if you want, mate. We've got enough there for that, I think.